This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
The Cowboys are on the clock.
Your war room for insider news and draft analysis from deep within the confines of Cowboys headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
The Dallas Cowboys select Leighton Vander Esch.
And now, your hosts, Dane Brugler, David Hellman, and Brian Broaddus.
Well, welcome back to the Draft Show for our weekly edition. What are you doing over there, David Hellman?
I'm just filming some social media content for our social media users.
There you go.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, that's David Hellman doubling as videographer.
That's right.
Scout, whatever you want to call him.
The man of many hats.
Man of many hats. To my right is one of the best scouts in the league, in my opinion, Dane Brugler. What's up there, big timer?
How we doing?
How about putting that mic in front of your face?
How we doing, Mr. Broaddus? Hey, please help me out with this.
Okay.
I heard a rumor that before Leighton Vander Esch picked out his jersey, he saw your senior video when you were running out onto the field, saw 55 and said, I am number 55 for the Dallas Cowboys.
Double fives, baby.
How about that?
Shouts out to Bobby
That's
Belt.
the rumor. That's the rumor.
No, if you don't know what Dane's talking about, I tweeted it out, a picture. Bobby Belt from the NFL Network.
Kudos.
Always comes up with some really cool content.
Rare footage of Brian Broaddus
Senior
with hair.
night, 1986 in Baton Rouge. Me following Roland Barbe, one of the good players we had on that team that day.
Was that Dan Bournet in the background? Like, has he been doing it that long? I honestly don't know.
No, that the announcer.
Yeah.
You're talking about the PA guy?
Yeah.
No, it's
Number 55.
it's somebody. Yeah,
Dallas, Texas.
like-
T.W. White.
Yeah, WT White.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's
whatever.
okay. Yeah, you're close. But yeah, it was kind of. Look, okay, Kent Garrison. Look
We
at
got
this.
it on the old
Look,
TV.
Kent
Oh,
Garrison.
there it
There I am. Look at this.
55.
Look at
What a
that.
beast.
A guy with hair. How about that? Well, that's some squareness to me, didn't
Need
it?
some better ball security.
Yeah,
High and tight, maybe.
that's
Carrying that
squareness
thing
to me.
like a loaf of
That's
bread.
my mom, Shug. My dad in the background. Dad's lost a lot of weight since that day. Bill Arnsparger's shaking my hand, though.
When's the last time you saw that video? Or did you ever see it?
I never knew it existed.
No, that's awesome.
It's probably one of those Cox cable things, Dave. You know, Baton Rouge.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They film it and
Like every big name program,
yeah.
you can find the craziest stuff online of
Yeah.
like people just archive their games. I spent like 30 minutes watching the Tennessee-Florida State national title game a couple nights ago. On
Yeah.
YouTube, I just
YouTube.
felt like it.
Taylor Stern gave it the great nickname. It's the great time machine.
Yep.
And that I tried to explain to my son how great of a frontman Freddie Mercury was, and I had to show him Live Aid in 1985.
Good stuff.
So anyway, I appreciate you guys mentioning that. And I don't think Leighton Vander Esch.
That was the rumor. I don't
think
know.
Leighton Vander Esch went
Bit
on
of
his own on this one, though.
Kind of a better player than you.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to get into some fun things today with the draft show. I do want to, Dave, I want you to kind of run through in the second half of the show.
Yeah.
We've got Tell Me More, Twitter on the 20 coming up at 20. We want to get to all your questions. We want to, if we can take some calls today, too, I'd like that. 888-855-2297 is the number we can do that. I love the interaction we have. Kent Garrison is executive producing.
I think you're gonna love. Our listeners are gonna love this "Would You Rather" segment that you put together because I'm going down this list. So we're basically gonna break down, I would say, half of the hot names that people are associating
this
with
is
us.
Would You Rather is we're just going to Dane Brugler and I are going to go back and forth and
And I haven't heard these names yet, so I'm eager to see what you've done.
This will be fun because a lot of these guys are really close within the position. And would you rather? And we're going to try and give some quick reasons why one or the other, and we'll see if we can do that. But you know what I want to get to, guys? The opening of this show, though. Scouts are, I'm starting now to have breakfast. The scouts are here at the Star. They're getting ready for the combine and all that, though. Dane and Dave, when they dig in, when they really dig in, now, they've got their areas. They've got their areas that they're responsible for,
right.
and they'll have their cross checks and things like that, though. What are they going to experience? What's something that's going to be surprising to them about this draft? Again, they might be in their region of the country in the Southeast, but what are they going to be surprised about this draft? And maybe that question, is there a myth to this draft? You know what I'm saying? Is there something that, we're already kind of thinking that, oh, people have kind of got it going this way, but that's a myth. There's something else. What are these scouts as they get in and they start digging? Because Dane, you've dug in. You've got this thing pretty covered.
Sure. Well,
and scouts around the country, I'm trying to catch up to you, and I want to know is there something that you're hearing now, but it's really a myth about this draft?
Well, I think first and foremost,
or the players in this draft.
First and foremost, you're trying to catch up to the underclassmen,
right?
Because you did the bulk of your work was done on the seniors throughout the year, and then the juniors you knew who were coming out,
right? But
there's always surprises. There's always. I mean, this year we had 135 juniors come out underclassmen. First time ever we've come close to that number. I think 12 more than last year, something like that. So it's a case where you're playing a little bit of catch up, even when you had an area and the player from the season. You're just playing a little bit of catch up to make sure you know everything about the guy, background. So there's no surprises at the combine. So when you do go to the combine, you know the right questions to ask during the interviews. You have a full understanding of who the player is, and you're not surprised by anything. In terms of a myth, I think when you stack the positions, because that's what I mean. All teams do it differently in terms of draft board and when they actually do it. A lot of teams will stack their draft board before the combine.
Right. We used to do that in Green Bay.
Yeah.
We used to do the skill guys we did after. So we did the skill positions after the combine because then we knew the 40 times.
Sure.
But then we would do offense and defensive linemen before we actually went to the combine. So we would start to set our board before we went to the combine. Again, this is 1992 through 1996.
Sure.
And I'm sure that John Dorsey and those guys who came from the Green Bay system probably do a lot of the same thing. But what are some of the things they're going to struggle with? What are some of those things? Is there some are there positions that these guys are going to come in and feel like they can draft at all day? Well, and then other ones you're going to say, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I don't want to say it's a myth, but I wonder if maybe it's overblown because we've talked about it here, and it's a logical talking point. Just when you look at the top of the board, that this is a defense heavy draft. There's no, the common line of thinking is like, well, there's no offensive players in this draft, nobody worth getting excited about. But like that's never true. Especially like you go down 1 through 256, like there are going to be players. We're putting together a very enticing looking list of wide receivers. We've talked plenty about some of these running backs.
Yeah.
Y'all keep telling me this is a very deep tight end class.
Yeah.
So clearly both of those things can't be true. And maybe 8 of the first 10 picks are going to be defense. Maybe you won't see a wide receiver off the board until the 20s or the 30s or the 40s, but that doesn't mean that there aren't talented players to be found.
Or we could see a surprise and see a wide receiver go top 10, like we did 2 years ago when it was Corey Davis, Mike Williams, John Ross, all went in the top 10.
That was a surprise to me.
No one expected 3 wide receivers to go in the top 10.
You think that might happen? 3, no way, right?
I can't find a first-round wide receiver now.
The thing is DK Metcalf and Marquise Brown.
Okay.
Those 2 guys.
Yeah.
We're talking about high upside guys.
Yeah.
If you're a team that is missing an explosive element on offense and, Marquise Brown could potentially fill that.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf has huge upside as a number 1 receiver in this league. You just have to, get him there, in terms of developing him as a route runner, as a finisher, just keeping him on the football field. So I can make a strong case why he shouldn't be in the top 10, but when you break down just the physical freak that he is, the high upside that he offers, if he can be a true number 1 in this league, then, it's going to be enticing. I think an interesting question will be, and this is a question for both of you, who will be the first running back, wide receiver, tight end, just of those 3 positions, who will be the first drafted?
I'm not. I saw you talking about this on Twitter this morning, so I know your answer. I'm
guess. I'm not sure it's my for sure guess, but I think there's a strong chance.
Oh, it's good tight ends.
He thinks the old Hawkeye.
Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You think?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
no. I tell you what, though.
Let's put that in context,
right?
Oh no, I love the Alabama running back.
Let's put that in context. When was the last time? And I have no idea. When was the last time that happened? When was the last time the first
Vernon Davis probably?
And he went, what, 10?
He went like 5th.
5 to San Francisco. Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah, Eric Ebron went like 11th.
9?
He wasn't.
Was he 9? Was he top 10?
But even Eric Ebron went behind Sammy Watkins.
And Evans, yeah.
Oh, no, you'd have to do some research.
I think Vernon Davis might be it.
Jeez.
There's no chance that Jacobs gets taken before that, right? The Alabama running back?
Absolutely it could. I mean, look,
Harmon at wide receiver, would he be?
What's the ceiling on Metcalf, you think?
See, I don't like that look you just gave me about Harmon.
Well, in
he's a wide receiver from North Carolina State.
Right. In the talking about him being in the first of those 3 positions drafted, that would surprise me.
Yeah.
I like Harmon, but that would surprise me if he's the first.
Who is the first wide receiver on your board?
I'm going with Metcalf.
Okay.
Just because of the high upside. Now, I wouldn't take him top 10, but late first round, yeah, that's where him and Marquise Brown, I have him both.
See, a tight end's going to go before the late first round.
Probably.
Tight end could go in the
top 10, yeah.
Top 10.
Detroit at 8, Buffalo at 9.
Detroit again at 10. Oh, my God.
You're going to do that again, Lions?
Oh, my God. But they were right about the guy who played well at Indianapolis this year.
Buffalo at 9, help out your young quarterback. Green Bay at 12.
All right, let me ask you this. Are the tight ends in this draft, okay, here comes the myth. Is this the myth? Are the tight ends are the wide receivers better than the tight ends in this draft? That would be a myth, wouldn't it?
Well, I think that kind of goes, I don't want to say it's a myth, but that kind of goes to my point when I look at the Cowboys.
Might have said it the wrong way there, boys. I'm sorry if I did.
When I look at the Cowboys, like I trust that a receiver you are going to find at 58 is more likely to contribute early than a tight end that you find at 58. That's just NFL trends more so than this specific class. So, Hawkinson and Fant are argue. I mean, if you could get those guys, that would be great. And I'm far more intrigued by those guys than Marquise Brown. But that's from the Cowboys' perspective. That's not really an issue.
How about two of the smallest explosive players on the same club at Oklahoma, with the quarterback?
Oh yeah,
and this wide receiver.
Well, in the Kyler Murray discussion,
and that running back they have. If he didn't have medical issues,
Rodney Anderson,
he'd be considered pretty highly too.
I think I don't know if you can make it in the first, but yeah, he'd be probably top 50 type of guy.
Yeah.
When I finished his report, watching his tape, you just saw a lot of James Conner with just that big body, but the ability to have the patience to read his blocks, make strong cuts. I think you see a lot of that.
Okay.
Medicals would be big for him.
What position do you think then is going to be the biggest reach?
It's always quarterback.
It's always going to be quarterback?
Well, maybe not. This year it is.
Okay, this year it is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I don't think there's even Dwayne Haskins, who is the top quarterback for me, and I think the favorite to be.
So any quarterback that's taken the first round other than Haskins to you is probably a reach?
In my opinion, yes.
Wow.
That's
terrifying.
I mean, Kyler Murray's the wild card just because I like him better than I liked Lamar Jackson last year.
Yeah.
And I had Lamar Jackson, I think, rated as my 32 best player.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll have a first-round grade on Kyler, but I liked him better than Lamar Jackson as a prospect, and I'll probably have him rated higher.
Could he rise on your board like the kid at Kansas City did? Mahomes? You kind of started off Mahomes at 50.
Yeah,
and then you elevate him as you went along.
And I've talked about this before. It's hard with these quarterbacks because it's one thing to study them on tape and see what they could do, but it's such a mental position.
Right.
And especially the guys from the Big 12.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a chance to sit down with them, break down plays and coverages on a whiteboard with them, it's hard to really understand where they are mentally in their development, how much they know, how much they don't know, because that's such a big part of the quarterback evaluation. So we're just on the outside looking in, we're at a disadvantage with these quarterbacks, and especially with a guy like Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I never get that right.
It's tough.
It's tough. You watch the tape, that's what you can go on. Give me a position though, guys. You feel like you could draft that all day.
I mean, we mentioned tight ends.
I know, but
tight ends right there.
Tight end,
edge rusher,
receiver.
Edge rushers.
I love the edge rushers in the first 2 rounds.
Can I just cheat and say defensive line? I mean,
yeah. Although I will say I don't think the defensive tackle class is
as steep as it was last year.
Yeah, or as much as we talked about it being like, or not we, but people talked about the defensive tackle class being, clearly the best position group in this draft. I don't think it's a top 3. And if you include,
that goes back to the thing about myths, because there's
a myth. Yeah,
that is a widely perceived thing in this draft class. Is that
why did I feel like that I could get a 4th round defensive tackle?
Oh, you probably can, but
I mean, a guy that could help you.
Sure, I think that's fair. I mean, you get a Dalen Mack from Texas A&M. Sure,
yeah.
But in terms of this defensive tackle class being historic,
would you call it
inaccurate?
It seems top heavy to me. Like there's definitely 5 or 6 really intriguing prospects in maybe the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
After that,
and I honestly I think the edge rushers are more top. Well, I think the edge rushers are more top heavy plus deeper. Because with edge rushers, I feel really
Bosa,
good.
Allen, Sweat, Farrell.
Feel great about Bosa. Best player in this draft, easily.
Yeah.
And then after
Not going to make that mistake, boys.
After that, Josh Allen from Kentucky, who I have some issues with some of the stuff, but I like him. I'm not sure he's the clear-cut number 2 pick, like some people think, but I like him. Cleveland Farrell, Jachai Polite, who I like better than you.
Yeah, Polite. I had some people reach out to me about Polite because they go like, why do you not like Polite? And I trust me, if whatever your gut feeling is on Polite is probably right. As opposed to my gut feeling.
Well, no, and
I mean,
but you're not wrong with
No, I see a 249-pound guy. That's what I mean. I kind of.
You're not wrong,
but I like Sweat, who's 252. So what kind of logic is that?
But Sweat's a better run defender.
Lot.
Yeah,
Sweat's a better run defender. Yeah. Jachai Polite, who by the way was 270 pounds when he got there.
Yeah, now he's
a big boy.
Yeah.
But he was a sub package guy. He wasn't asked to contribute as a run defender on a consistent basis. But these guys. There's a lot of potential there, whereas with defensive tackle, Quinn Williams, the best defensive tackle in this draft, Jeffrey Simmons shortly after that.
Yeah.
And then you've got Christian Wilkins and Oliver.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair to call it top heavy because then it falls off, I think, a little bit, once you get past that initial
You think you're in a little trouble if you have to get a linebacker in this draft? I mean, I haven't done them all. I haven't studied them all. But you think you're in a little trouble with these linebackers?
It's not a great group for linebackers, but... Okay, I'll put it this way:
linebackers or safeties? Which one?
The first few linebackers drafted last year. How many we saw?
Edmonds,
Georgia, Roquan
Smith,
yeah.
Evans, Edmonds. Sorry, not Evans.
Yeah. Van Der Esch, Rashawn Evans.
Yeah.
I got my.
I'm not crazy. Yeah,
I got the draft right here.
So those 4 linebackers right there. Which would you take any of these linebackers ahead of those 4?
Roquan Smith was at 8. I'm just going to go through it again. And then Tremaine Edmonds,
16.
Good job. Yeah. And then you had Van Der Esch at 19.
Oh, it's so hard.
Then you had Rashawn Evans at 22.
Tennessee.
It's so hard not to think about their rookie production when you're answering.
It is.
Because right
you take
now,
any one of these guys in the last draft over these guys right now.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Of Devon White.
I don't know. I might
Mac Wilson. Those guys.
I might take Devon White over Evans. But the top 3, it's tough.
Yeah. Or Edmonds. You would take him you would take him over Evans.
Sean Evans.
If I hadn't seen all these guys play as rookies, I might have different opinions. Like, I'd take Devon White over a couple of those guys. I think back to like how not sold a lot of people were on Leighton Van Der Esch at the time, and then you got Devon White who just annihilated everything in the SEC for like 3 years. I think it sounds stupid after you watch the guy put together a Rookie of the Year type season, but it wouldn't have been a crazy conversation a year ago, So
yeah,
I mean, we were so high on Roquan Smith.
I
don't think there's anybody at linebacker I'm going to talk about like him.
No, there's not. No.
But also, selfishly, my job is to provide the Cowboys' perspective. Like, I don't care. We don't have to worry about it. That's somebody else's problem. You have to draft.
It's not a bad linebacker class. I mean, like Devon White, I think is a first-round linebacker. I love Devin Bush.
Yeah, short though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the length is what worries me.
Yeah.
Mac Wilson from Alabama, I think has upside. I think he could be a 3-down player in the NFL, but
really run.
You really worry about the consistency. My boy from Hawaii, Tavai.
You need to watch that, folks. Don't sleep on if you find Hawaii tape, check it out.
Jermaine Pratt from NC State, Tavon Coney from Notre Dame.
I need to see these guys.
Okereke from Stanford.
I saw him at the Senior Bowl.
I think those are more. I mean, I think Pratt's probably might get in the second round, but Coney, Okereke, these are 3rd-round guys. So I think it does drop off pretty quickly, and the top guys aren't guys that you really get excited about like last year.
Yeah, I was more excited about the group last year, I think.
I took time during this segment to look at Dane's 2-round mock that he just put up on The Athletic a little while ago. So, like I said, defense heavy at the top of this thing.
Right.
He's got 18 defenders going in the first round, and 4 of his offensive picks are quarterbacks. So, and quarterbacks are always their own category. So
I think another 5 are offensive linemen.
Yes. Well, I think Marquise Brown, and Hawkinson are the only skill players you have. Oh, and Jacobs.
And Fant made it at the end.
So
yeah.
4.
Yeah.
4.
Not many.
It's not a lot.
So it's just going to be the first night of the draft. We're going to be all talking. And the draft's
22 of the 32.
77 days away,
round.
by the way, on the draft.
There you go.
They're going to give me anxiety.
Yeah.
Too much
22 of the 32 defenders and quarterbacks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I want to go look at the breakdown for other years, but that's my point though. Is okay. That's the first round, but there's value to be had. It's like I said, I don't want to call it a myth, but it is a talking point that's going to be beaten into the ground.
All right, we're going to take our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll hit some Twitter on the 20. You have the draft show from the SWBC Mortgage Studios, presented by Miller Lite. We'll be right back.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972, so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
You want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. Fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
The Cowboys are on the clock.
Back here with the draft show from the SWBC Mortgage Studios. Brian Broaddus, Dane Brugler, David Hellman, Kent Garrison, executive producing. Excited to have everybody with us once again. Really happy about the following that we have on Periscope as well. We appreciate you folks. It's kind of a neat way. I've kind of grown accustomed to following that way.
You love it.
I love Periscope. I love the interaction. I love how you're able to kind of talk to people quickly, and you can kind of scroll down and see some things. So we do appreciate all that. I also want to thank Ed Cahill for this because it's one of my favorite segments that we do every week. It is
Twitter on the 20.
I'll turn it over to David Hellman. Go ahead, David.
Got some good ones today.
Yep.
Have you been talking about this on Twitter? We got a lot of people in the mentions talking about trading into round one, and it just sounds like a very broadest.
That's something I love to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very broadest idea. So
I had somebody ask me what it would take to trade DeMarcus Lawrence. What could you do to get, could you trade DeMarcus Lawrence to get back in the first round?
Probably.
Are you serious?
Why would you do that, though?
Well, I'm just saying, no. Okay. I mean, there's people.
Who are you going to draft that's
the
same level?
Well, we were talking about
John Gruden. Get out of here.
No, we were talking about those defensive ends and stuff like that. But, you know what? Let me ask you this. If you had the similar situation to what you have now with Leighton Vander Esch and also with Jalen Smith, and it's like with Sean Lee.
Mm-hmm.
if you had that kind of situation where you had an established player, but you had two guys that you felt really, really good about. See, people don't feel good about Taco.
No.
And they really don't
should they.
And they really don't trust Randy Gregory right now.
No.
But if they did, if either one of those,
It's an if that doesn't exist, though. There's no if, because that's not the case.
no, but if
Okay.
if that, but they do have it at linebacker.
But
They're going to make a move at linebacker.
Talking about defensive end, though.
I'm just telling you, though, if you felt good about these, that they drafted guys to, but eventually try and take over, didn't they?
Why are you trying to get me to fight you right now?
No,
literally,
No,
DeMarcus
I'm not.
Lawrence is the centerpiece of the line, and it is a very
What could you get for him right now?
probably a decent amount.
Could you get the same haul you got from Chicago, Dane?
Probably not
Yeah, probably not.
quite as much.
Could you get a 1 and a 3 out of it?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he couldn't. Yeah,
I would like to think you could.
Okay.
I'd be shocked if he couldn't
Okay.
get a 1 and a 3.
Okay, that's how you get back in this draft.
Wait, gross. Which, all right, well, here, all right, let's actually take.
No, I'm just saying if that's you want
That's
you look
too
at
high of a
options.
price to pay.
You look at options. You
That shouldn't
you
be an
franchise him and then you trade him.
Why- that shouldn't be an
You
option.
don't send good players away from your team.
Yeah,
It's just a.
it worked. It worked okay for the Raiders, right?
It was an awesome idea. And then John Gruden got up there after every game and
Well,
was
let's
like,
see
we
who
just
they
can't
pick.
get to the quarterback.
Let's see who they pick.
Okay.
I'm not trying to defend Gruden. I'm just telling you, you guys. See, we shouldn't be closed-minded about options.
We're not closed-minded about getting into the first
we
round.
are being closed-minded.
Okay, no,
David.
it's fine. We'll talk about it. Okay, we talked about it. Boom. No, it's no longer an option.
Fair enough. What's your question?
Oh, this is a good one from Facey. This is the type of advanced thinking I like.
I liked your question. I favored it, I think.
Round 2 has traditionally been
Yeah.
a round that the front office is willing to take a risk on players, whether medical or character reasons. With no first-round pick this year, that changes things. So what's more likely, taking a risk with that pick or trading up? Because I do agree that the fact that this is your first pick of the draft kind of takes away some of your flexibility,
Right.
with who you want to pick there.
It makes you have second thoughts about packaging 2 and a 3 to go up and get somebody. Because if you package your 2 and 3, you're only getting into like the.
You got a compensatory fourth now too.
But you're only getting into like the 40s. It's not
Okay.
like we're talking about trading a second and third and getting into the late first round. If you trade your second and your third, you're only getting up a little bit.
If you were going to go up to get to the 40s, and I had this question asked to me last night about Adderley, the safety. I don't think they would trade up for a safety. But we last year we were talking about Sutton and how we were going to get to Indianapolis at 40 and draft a wide receiver.
Yeah.
We were talking about that.
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, from SMU. But okay, who do you have in mind?
Who would you trade up? What would you trade up for in this draft? Which is another question that we actually got.
I think that they're going to take. I don't think they're going to take a medical risk player. I don't think they're going to take that,
Jalen
and I don't
Smith,
think they're going to take a character risk guy at 58.
I think, like I said,
to answer her question,
not having the first round pick, you don't have that leniency this year. Like this guy needs to contribute right away.
Yeah,
and so I don't think they would be as willing to do that.
So you don't think they'd go for more of an upside player? You think they need someone that's going to contribute year one?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I know. Okay, everybody keeps saying your first round pick is Amari Cooper. That's fine, but like, what do we always say? Like your first, second, and third round picks should be able to play a role.
Yeah,
even more so.
That's different than.
All I said was contribute. I didn't say he had to be a Pro Bowler.
No. But I think it's okay. Like for instance, in my 2-round mock, I gave him Renell Wren.
Yeah,
who he's raw.
Yeah,
but he's a guy that you project him forward, and you think he's going to be a contributor, but he might not start for you as a rookie.
Will he play?
Yeah, I mean, he will.
I just need him to
He'll
be
be
in
part
the
of the rotation.
Okay,
no, he will.
That's
especially with Rod Marinelli. Like a first round pick isn't going to just play all the snaps on the defensive line,
right.
So that doesn't bother me.
They wouldn't take a first round tackle anyway. We've learned our lesson about that, haven't we?
Which I'm curious about. That is like, since this is their first pick in the draft, do they apply the same rules?
They go ahead and take it. Yeah.
No, do they? No, they're like, well, we can't use our first pick on a D tackle,
especially considering Chris Richard. How much say does he have in terms of that?
Great segue, Dave. I love it because Jason says, of the popular needs to address at 58, D tackle, safety, receiver, tight end, who can the Cowboys most afford to wait on? Meaning
what position they can afford to wait on.
I mean, he's saying, he thinks that wide receiver and tight end, you can get value on day 3.
Yeah.
Yada, yada.
I think so.
What do y'all think?
Wide receivers probably I think it's easier to find wide receivers on day 3 than it is any other position, especially if we're talking about contributing early. And this is a deep wide receiver class.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that would probably be the easy answer. Like a lot of these tight ends you like, but we're talking about Dalton Schultz situation.
Yep.
Guys that
4th round. I mean, it had better grade. I mean, he was taken in the 5th, right?
4th. No, 4th.
4th round. That's right, because
like
he went Mike White in the 5th. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I think, to me, the kid Sternberger makes a lot of sense here.
Texas A&M.
But you have to take him at 58. I think. I don't think he's going to be there with your late 3rd, let alone the 4th. I think you have to take him at 58 if you want.
You see him as a 2nd-round player, or you see him as a late 2, early 3?
Yes, late 2, early 3.
Okay.
I see him as a top 75 pick.
Okay.
I can live with that.
All right.
But
now, let me ask you this. Would you rather move up in the 3rd round or move up in the 2nd round?
It depends who's there. If I'm moving up, the only way I'm moving up is for a guy that I have a high grade on that's like if Irv Smith from Alabama, somehow he falls to pick 42.
There you go.
I will trade my 2nd and my 3rd to go up and get Irv Smith. I would feel okay doing that.
Yeah.
So but what you sort of just said right there is they kind of need to pull the trigger on a defensive tackle if they can sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Because I think among those positions, I think wide receiver would be the easier one to fall. Or
it's going to stretch. I think wide receiver is going to stretch.
There's no question. Especially if what they're looking for is a slot. Slot receiver, I mean, not to take anything away from those guys, it is the easiest position of the wide receivers. Talking about an X, Y, or a Z, it is easier to find that Y, that slot receiver, later in the draft compared to an X or a Z or some of the other positions.
Yeah.
We got a Dane Brugler special for you. Well, not really.
These are good questions, by the way.
He didn't play at Division III or anything. He played in the SEC. But Sam is one of about 6 people that asked me about Georgia tight end Isaac Nauta.
Isaac Nauta, not a bad player.
David Hellman appreciates that.
I do. Yeah. I really do.
Kind of like the rest of Georgia's offense, the receivers, Ridley and McCole Hardman and Holloman, they underutilized. But he was a top tight end coming out 3 years ago as a recruit, and you see why. Really good sized kid. He can run. He's reliable at the catch point. I think he had the best catch rate of any tight end in this group. I think 35 targets, 30 receptions, something like that. So not a lot of usage. The sample size isn't there, but you think there's more. You can get more out of them. Similar to the way you think there's more in Riley Ridley. Just sample size isn't great. So to me, when you look at these tight ends,
him or Irv Smith?
Irv Smith, easy. The top three tight ends
are not going to change for you.
No, that's the top tier. Hawkinson, Fant, and Irv
and
Smith.
you've even said this about these tight ends that even if Fant has a better workout than the other kid, you're not going to change that.
Because part of the
he's going to trust the tape.
But part of the reason you like Fant is because he is a great athlete.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't perform well, then that's a red flag. But if he does perform well, okay, that's what you expected.
Yeah.
Same thing with DK Metcalf. When DK Metcalf at 6'4" and 230 pounds goes out and runs a 4.44. It shouldn't skyrocket up boards because that's what you're expecting.
Oh, no, he'll be talked about. That'll be the buzz.
Yeah. Although he probably is not going to work out at the combine.
Okay.
We'll see. He was medically cleared, but I don't know if he's ready. I'll get more info on that later. But, okay, the top 3 tight ends, Hawkinson, Fant, Smith. To me, those are the top 3 tight ends. And then you have a group of Sternberger, Nauta, Kaden Smith, Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
Those guys are in that 2nd to 4th round range where – you can.
So maybe you don't have to trade up for a tight end.
No.
Maybe my idea of going up and getting one of those guys. You talked about Irv Smith.
I would trade up for an Irv Smith because again, I think he's
all right. Well, how close is I need to watch the Georgia kid, obviously, but how close is the Georgia kid to? Is him and Sternberger?
I've got Sternberger's 4 among the tight ends, and Nauta's 5 for me.
There you go.
So I think I've got a 2.
You just told me I don't have to trade up for a tight end.
Well, you don't have to. But the thing that you always have to keep in mind is like that they could feel completely differently. Like they could be like, well, If Sternberger's there, that would be great. We're not.
Sonata sounds really good,
we're
though,
not
too.
taking Notto. Yeah, but for whatever reason, they won't like him.
I think another thing.
For whatever reason, they won't like him?
But that's just the way this works. I'm not saying that specifically.
You're not wrong, yeah. Another thing for fans to keep in mind, though, is tight end traditionally is one of the positions where we don't see a lot of rookie success. And
boom. Thank you, Dane.
And a big reason.
Exactly.
A big reason for that is because, for the similar reasons we don't see a lot of rookie receivers have instant success is because of chemistry, route running's tougher. The coverage they see in the NFL is night and day different than the coverage I saw in college.
I'm waiting for that guy at Tampa to show up.
O.J. Howard.
Yeah.
And with tight ends, you not only you factor in the route running and being a proficient receiver, but the blocking. Tight ends have to know the entire playbook.
I was wrong about Dalton Schultz. I was way too optimistic about Dalton. Him coming in here and starting.
Oh, yeah.
That was stupid on my part. And you're right. You're not wrong about that.
Did you see? I saw this tweet last night. In 2013, 2013 saw Tyler Eifert, Zach Ertz, Vance McDonald, Travis Kelce, and Jordan Reed all get drafted.
Is that good?
Cowboys drafted Gavin Escobar.
Oof.
And I'm scarred. I'm scarred at by this position. Blake Jarwin came on strong. Schultz is going to get better as he gets stronger and works. All right, I'm not trying to pin my hopes and dreams on a tight end.
Since you're our Cowboy expert on this panel, you're our Cowboy expert.
Yeah, you know some things.
No, but I'm just saying, since you're the expert, that's why we have you here, among other things. Do you feel better about the coaching situation now that maybe that Doug Nussmeier has a way of getting guys ready, and maybe the evaluation of the position will be a little bit better, and maybe that we saw improvement from those guys.
Well, does
that give you a little hope that they're not going to make the mistakes that they've made in the past?
That's what gives me hope that I don't need to press the panic button at tight end, honestly, because I'm not trying to pretend like they're Pro Bowlers, but we saw.
They improved.
Saw both of those guys make some pretty big strides.
Absolutely.
And they certainly weren't liabilities. Jarwin especially was a big contributor toward the playoff push. And it's got nothing to do with their ability to evaluate tight ends or Nussmeier's ability to coach them. It's just a hard position to acclimate to, especially when half the offenses in college are the tight end position is completely different. You might as well be playing a different sport.
Do you agree with what he just said about the evaluation, the coaching of the position?
In terms of tight end specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, we look at.
I think that has something to do with it. I think you got to evaluate these guys the right way, David.
What you talking about before you pick them?
Yeah.
We had the same evaluation as you love Schultz.
I know, but
it's not like they made a mistake picking the guy.
No, but I'm just saying though. I'm just trying to figure out. I think I'm more confident about the group now, or the way they're evaluating them now than I was 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, if you want to go back that far, well, yeah, everything they do now seems a proven track record of being better. I think the Cowboys are drafting. They're one of the top 5 organizations in the league in terms of hitting in the draft over the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I think history says that's pretty accurate because they've had some mixed results on day 2, but day 1, except for really just Taco, the last few years has been lights out. It's been the foundation of why this team is a playoff team.
Their day 2 results look a hell of a lot better in 2019 than they have recently. Jalen, Randy Gregory's playing pretty well. So
Awuzie,
Cheeto,
no question, but. I think, really, besides Gavin Escobar, I don't know if they've really missed on the tight end position.
Well, they've gotten rid of a good one.
Yeah,
Bennett.
Martellus Bennett.
And that was more about Garrett's brother coaching him, messing him up.
No, and
I'll blame him for that.
I think it would be lunacy. It would be lunacy to assume that, they can't find a good tight end this year because of Gavin Escobar or Martellus Bennett or Anthony Fasano or any of that stuff. That's ancient history.
Yeah. If they don't draft a tight end in 2nd or 3rd round, is there a point in drafting a tight end on day 3?
Exactly.
Okay. Because what are you drafting that you don't already have?
So on day 3 of the draft, when we start getting close to their pick and we start talking about best players on the board, are you guys going to keep pushing a tight end?
They
don't take one.
That's not pushing a tight end.
Who? Once you get to the 4th, 5th round, 6th round, 7th round, who are you looking at that is an upgrade over who you have on the roster already? I'm not sure there is.
If I was in charge of this thing, I would sign a moderately priced free agent. It could be Jeff Swaim. It could be somebody else's tight end. And I would worry about tight end next year when I have a 1st round pick.
There you go.
That's me. That's
All right.
just me.
Thanks for all the questions. We're going to take our final break. When we come back, we're going to play. What game we got for you today?
We'll play Would You Rather.
Would You Rather, next.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for Tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper soft coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the DallasCowboys.com Draft Show.
The Cowboys are on the clock.
We're back here at the Draft Show from the SWBC Mortgage Studios, presented by Miller Lite. It's Brian Broaddus, Dane Brugler, David Hellman, Kent Garrison, executive producing. Once again, we thank you guys for hanging out with us this morning or this evening, wherever you might be in the world. We appreciate all you very much, and look forward to always doing these shows every week. We've got Combine coverage coming up at the end of the month. We'll be there the whole entire week with shows.
Should have the list, official invite list coming out here today or tomorrow. Should be.
Yeah, so make sure you check out,
it's going to
BP
be here
Brugler or
before we know it.
David Hellman's account, Hellman DC, or
Dane will definitely have it before me.
Okay, well,
Dane's got.
We'll have snubs and surprises and a couple of.
Read that snubs list. Philip Lindsay, anybody?
Yeah.
Well,
take a long look at the snubs list.
I started on the snubs list this morning because I've heard a few, including like Darwin Thompson from Utah State, Michael Dogby from Temple, a few others. But last year there were 38 players drafted who weren't at the Combine. So just because a guy doesn't get a Combine invite does not mean that he's not going to get drafted. So 38 players, that's I think 15% of the draft. Pretty high percentage to get drafted and not be at the Combine.
Yeah, and next week when we have our show, we'll probably get into those.
What's
those names?
What's the flip side of that? Like, how many guys that get invited to the Combine don't get drafted? Probably like 60.
I've got it right here. Last year, Combine invites to go undrafted, 118 players. So
118 guys that got invited to the Combine didn't get drafted?
Correct.
Holy crap.
That's a poor job by the league.
Do better.
There were 336 players invited last year.
That's that's a third of your talent pool.
It's 35.1%.
That's insane.
218 of the 336 that were invited, 218% or 218 players were drafted, 64.9%. 118 were undrafted, 35.1%.
That's not good.
Thank you, Jason.
And I mean, that's pretty consistent. I did the last 5 years to get a sample size.
Run through that real quick.
Combine invites to go undrafted. Last year was 118. Year before, 105. Year before, 117. Year before that, 108. Year before that, 111. So every year, it's been pretty consistent.
I know.
About a third, just over a third of your draft pool.
Wow.
I know. I mean, hey, it's a hard target to hit, but I got to believe you could get it up toward 80%.
Yeah, we need it. We'll get into that next week. Okay, get to these.
Yeah.
Get to these.
Would you rather?
Would you rather? And would you rather is players within a position within a round.
These are
guys.
You have
that
done a good job with this. These are all guys
players
that I hear getting mentioned in the same breath.
Well, okay, we got 15 minutes to kind of get through this list, so let's give. Or we go a little longer. For you.
Would you rather Iowa State running back David Montgomery or Memphis running back Darrell Henderson?
That's a good one. I like that a lot because that's two guys I have rated very similar, but they offer different things. One's a more home run threat. One's more, tougher between the tackles. I would take Montgomery from Iowa State because I think gives me a little more value as a 3-down player. A little more reliable, but Henderson's a home run threat.
Yeah, this is the one. I mean, I love Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
I like them both, but Henderson at Memphis is just he's 5'8", 199. But to me, I just saw a guy that was an explosive player.
Oh.
I mean, other guy was just more of a kind of a just a pounder, bad weather, kind of running between the tackles and.
One's a grinder, one's not.
Exactly. And I think with Henderson, I just didn't feel like that he needed much room to make something big happen. And I think the other guy needs more room. I really do. And again, I'm not trying to, but if you gave me a choice, I'm taking Henderson myself. I just think I think Montgomery is, if you want a tough guy that catches the ball, and who to pick up on the blitz and all that stuff. He's got some complete back to him, but I didn't see a guy that really had the speed to turn the corner and stuff like that. But
no, there's nothing special about him as an athlete.
Right, he's just a steady player. But I give me the explosive guy in this case.
My player comparison for Henderson, Dalvin Cook. I think you see a lot of the similar.
All
right, swerving in and out.
There you go.
I worry a little bit about that offense. I mean, that offense opened up some huge holes for him.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be interesting.
What's wrong about a quarterback there?
Dalvin Cook, Darius Geis, history says that a pretty good running back is going to be there in the Cowboys range.
Oh, yeah.
So how many running backs do you have ahead of Henderson on your board so far?
Let me tell you.
Jacobs
is really the only one.
Okay. So he's your number 2 running back?
Actually, take that back. I like Trey Williams.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Singletary.
Ahead of
Henderson. Yeah.
Travion Williams?
From Texas A&M. Yeah.
I agree with you on those. The only other guy I would add is I like Damian Harris.
Damian Harrison is another,
Damian Harris is like 75% version of Zeke. That's who he is. Yeah, he's not 100% Zeke. He's not Zeke, but he's like 75% Zeke.
All right, I got to speed y'all up.
Yeah, we do.
Sorry.
Would you rather Hakeem Butler, wide receiver, Iowa State, or Texas's own Jordan Humphrey?
And it kind of depends on what you want, a slot or an outside stretch guy. What do you really need in your offense? Because Lil Jordan Humphrey is that big, oversized slot receiver who can find those open zones, help you on crossers, strong at the catch point, he's going to high point well. And meanwhile, Butler's more of the downfield threat where jump balls and, he's going to box out.
You saw Humphrey make some plays, down the field.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying.
So, I guess I take probably... I feel better about Lil Jordan Humphrey in terms of what I'm getting. I feel better about understanding what I'm getting, but Butler's got more upside because of those big play potential that he has.
Could the how they run be the factor in who's taken first?
I don't think either's going to run very well.
That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
If one trains better and happens to run better than the other, are we going to see a guy go one over the other?
Butler's probably going to run like a 4.56, and Humphrey's going to run like a 4.61.
Yeah.
Something like that, you know.
And everybody's not going to like him, and then you watch the tape, and they both make plays down. I mean,
DeAndre Hopkins ran a 4.58.
Yeah.
It's not. Michael Thomas ran a 4.57.
Yeah.
I mean, wide receiver is a technical position.
I'd take Humphrey over this guy.
Yes, I agree. All right, here's one.
Glad you had an answer.
No, well, that's true, but I do like Humphrey a lot. This Cowboy fans will like this one. Stanford tight end Kane Smith or A&M's Jay Sternberger. Who would you rather?
I'm taking Sternberger.
Sternberger.
I was surprised you didn't like Kane Smith that much.
I just struggled with him.
I like him a lot better than Dalton Schultz. And Dalton Schultz was a fourth last year.
It was Brian's guy.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz was my guy.
He hates all of a sudden.
No, I don't hate him. I was disappointed in him.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
No, I was disappointed because I felt like he was going to come in and start. And
he's got 3 more years on his contract.
I know, but I just felt like that. The Stanford. I fell in love with the Stanford.
You just like David Shaw.
So now you're overcompensating the other way, disliking Kaden Smith.
Because
you got burned.
Don't fall into that trap.
You got burned a little bit by Dalton, so now you're.
I don't see a guy with much after catch here with this guy. All these tight ends I watch, everybody's doing something after catch. That Kane Smith does nothing after the catch.
Neither did Jason Witten, except for that one time without a helmet.
Yeah,
just saying.
I just don't see a guy that extends routes and stuff like that.
Well, you want a big time playmaker at tight end, or
I'd love one. Yes,
I'd love one. That'd be great. But in the third round, where you're probably going to get
Sternberger can make plays down the field. That's why I would
make some plays.
Against our alma mater, we were live watching this guy do.
Well, and that's why I think he's Sternberger. If you want him, you have to take him in the second round.
Yeah.
Where Kaden Smith, I think he could be there in the third round.
Okay.
I think those two players are your day 2 options for the Cowboys at tight end. In a second, it'd be Sternberger, and the third would be Kaden Smith.
Yeah.
And they're different. Kaden Smith's a chain mover, a guy who's going to give you more as a blocker.
I didn't see a guy got much movement, though. That's what bothered me about Kane Smith.
Yeah, he's not a overpowering guy, but he doesn't lose a lot either.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a sustained guy. Or he's more of a stalemate guy, not a overpower guy.
Okay.
So
Sternberger's
the answer.
He fumbled in overtime.
He did, by the way. Yeah, bad fumble there.
The box score didn't say that.
It did. It should have.
Mississippi State defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons
and done.
Oh,
unless you say Quinton Williams.
Well, Clemson Christian Wilkins, who we already know Dane doesn't like.
No, I like Christian Wilkins.
Okay, do it. Flip it the other way.
No, you don't like Lawrence. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
All right, flip it the other way.
Quinton?
Go Quinton Williams with that guy.
You got to go Quinton. Simmons is great, but Quinton Williams actually gives you...
Are people going to like Simmons just as much, you think?
No. Williams gives you better pass rush value. I mean, Simmons can get to the quarterback with that power, but Williams is such a better pass rusher. And if you can create that interior disruption,
no doubt.
That's a difference maker.
See, I think Quinton Williams is one of the best players in this draft.
Yeah, he's the number 2 player in this draft. I think easy.
Could Simmons... and maybe not like right away. Like, could he play on the edge? Does he have any type of flex like that? He doesn't seem like he's built like most defensive tackles. Like, he looks leaner.
6'3", 311.
I think his calves are huge.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's really he's just a grown man.
When you talk about him and Williams, those are 2 physical players.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
You watch. I mean, how you judge defensive tackles? If you could see their number and their name the whole time, if they're not getting turned and washed and stuff like that, they're pretty good. These guys, you see 94 and you see those numbers.
I think Simmons and Wilkins, that's a good one because I think they offer something a little different. Simmons is more of the grown man. He's got more power at the point of attack.
Got some off the field stuff too, right?
He does, and that's going to be a really interesting storyline with him because it's not as bad as I think a lot of people think.
We've seen some SEC defensive tackles fall before because of injury and other things.
Sure. With Christian
Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, definitely. With Christian Wilkins, you're getting a guy that's more of an upfield penetrator.
Yeah.
The flexible hips, the way he can get through gaps. Talking to people at Clemson, they rave about him.
Yeah.
They one guy said that the only player they've had that was better from a leadership, maturity, intangible standpoint was Deshaun Watson. So that's pretty high praise.
That's very high
Christian
praise.
Wilkins. So I mean, that's why they're both going to be top 15 guys.
Yeah.
Simmons is a monster, though.
Yeah,
Simmons is rated just ahead of Wilkins for me.
Yeah.
Just ahead.
Who would you rather? We're going to separate the 2 Devons, who we already talked about, but arguably, I mean, if you're looking for a linebacker, your best 2 bets, LSU's Devon White and Michigan's Devin Bush.
If Bush were just 2 inches,
I knew you were going to say this.
If ifs were a fifth, we'd all be drunk, Dane.
Yes, you're right.
I like that.
It's just it's tough and it's not something that we're just getting hung up on, like arm length and numbers. You see it on tape where
you do.
You know, he's whether it's getting off blocks or finishing tackles. But he's such a powerful player. He's such a rangy player.
Yes.
He's so smart. I love so much about Devin Bush. The length is going to lead to some negative plays here and there. And you have to live with that. And I think you will live with that. But I think that Devon White's the answer.
I'll tell you what, though, man. For a shorter guy, he can hold his ground.
Yeah.
I mean, Dane's right, though. You do see some time. But this guy's got a real nose for the ball.
He's a smart guy.
I mean, he sees stuff, and he's gone. He's running. I mean, sideline to sideline player. He get through the trash, fills gaps. He's short. He is a 5'11" guy.
And he might not be 5'11".
Might not be 5'11" when it's all said and done.
In my 2-round mock draft I did this week, I had the Packers going Jachai Polite into 2 rounds. Jachai Polite, Noah Fant, Devin Bush. Loved what they got in that draft. I think that'd be a home
Trying to get a job with the Packers? What do you got going there?
Yeah, if that worked out, that'd be great for him.
How close I know we kind of touched on this. How close would you stack Devon White to Roquan Smith?
I think there's a big difference in instincts there.
Yeah, I do too.
Roquan was a stud.
I'll tell you what, though, they both create turnovers, though.
Devon White,
Devon White, when he can.
I feel a lot better about Roquan Smith in coverage too.
Yeah,
like I think he's just a lot more natural in that area. Devon White really wasn't asked to do that a lot. I mean, he did some spot dropping, and you see the range, but he's just more of a see ball, get ball guy. Yeah. Where Roquan, I think you saw a little more instinctual anticipation, that kind of thing.
All right, we got 2 more to do and 3 minutes to do it. Rapid fire. Clemson corner, Trayvon Mullen. Vandy corner, Juan Williams.
That's a good one.
You like that one?
Yeah,
have I done pretty good so far with these?
I give you credit.
Thank you.
Their tags are touching for me right now, based on what we've seen.
Brian loves that. He loves to hear that.
I love to hear that.
Because there's both.
What's this? What's the round? What's the projection here?
Probably mid-second.
Mid-second, yeah, for sure.
I mean, they're both tall, long guys.
Maybe right before Dallas picks.
Juan Williams is one of the most physically impressive. Just when you look at him, he's so physically impressive for a corner.
You would swear. He'd
make Jalen Ramsey look like his little brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like he's so physically impressive.
Yeah. He's really good looking kid.
He's more of a 4.55 athlete. Yeah. He's going to get beat with speed. You worry about that. And with Mullen, again, he's tall, long, rangy, but doesn't have a great feel with the back to the ball. I mean, you could poke holes in both these guys. They just both look really good in their in pads, and they run really well. So I don't know. I have Mullen slightly ahead of Williams right now, but again, tags are touching.
I give me Williams from Vanderbilt, and I'm just. Again, they're both tall guys.
I love when Brian finds his notes on a guy.
No, but
like his face lights up.
No. I'm just looking at Mullen's notes and stuff like that, and I think that he plays with more of a burst.
To a T.
Yeah, no,
national title.
He does. He plays with more of a burst. Mullen plays with a burst, but he tends to float. Yeah. You watch him in coverage, he floats, and that bothers me about him.
All right, you like Williams. I'm cutting you off.
Yeah, thanks.
2 guys that Cowboys fans I have been enamored with. Safety, Taylor Rapp out of Washington, and Jonathan Abram out of Mississippi State.
Another one where I have him rated pretty closely.
So you had Abram going the pick after the Cowboys.
I did to the Colts. He's more of your traditional strong safety. He has the range to hold up in coverage, but that's not what he does best. He's physical. I love the energy that he brings to the field, and he's kind of like an old soul type of guy. Like he's married or he has a kid, but he brings it every single time he's on the field. Taylor Rapp's kind of similar, where it's a lot of intelligence. It's a lot of understanding angles. Neither are great athletes where you consider them as like a true center field single high type, but they're versatile. They can do a lot of different things. I would go Rapp, but I have them. Rapp's my number 3 safety. Abrams my number 4 safety.
I'll tell you what, it gave me Rapp. I mean, and I appreciate what he's saying about the Mississippi State kid, because I don't think he's wrong about that. But with Rapp, my notes were so good on him about time and blitzes, ability to run and close, the quickness of his feet.
Just well-rounded.
Stays in coverage. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there. He doesn't miss tackles. he's just a tough guy. And if you want me to have a safety, give me a guy that can play near the line, play back, knows his assignments, doesn't make mistakes. But I tell you, they're both really, really good players. But I would draft Rapp before I would the other kid.
I agree. And so that's a wrap.
It is a wrap. I'm curious, safety being a need, obviously we'll see how it changes.
Yeah.
I know Chris Richard was here last year, but I'm still fascinated by the impact that he could have in that.
He's still going to have a big impact. Get ready.
Yeah.
Get ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this defense,
looking for their Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
5th round pick.
Let's see what happens in free agency too with that safety position. Let's see what kind of recruiter Chris Richard is.
Mm-hmm.
See if we can get one of his former players here. If not, we won't be talking about Taylor Rapp and all those.
Seen the movie E.T. before?
I have. Okay.
E.T. Come Home.
Phone
I like that. Phone Home. I like it. All right. Well, that is all the time that we have for the draft show today. I just want to thank everybody involved, Dane Brugler, David Hellman, Kent Garrison, executive producer. We want to thank you guys out there for hanging out with us, whether you hang out with us live or later on. We do appreciate every single one of you. We'll see you next week with more opportunities to investigate and educate. You got the draft show from the SWBC Mortgage Studios presented by Miller Lite. Have a good week, guys.